My name is Jimmy Howard Peterson. My rank was Engineman Second Class, Submarine Qualified. At the time I graduated from high school, I was not interested in college. However, about a year out, you get a notification from the draft board that your time is up and then it'll be a month or two and you're going to be drafted. And I said, I don't think I want to do that way. So I went ahead and enlisted in the Navy on a delay program. I had a buddy that also tried to enlist on that, but he at the last moment pulled out. So I was by myself, which was fine. And I went in, let's see, January of 1967. I went to San Diego for my boot camp training. And it was definitely an eye-opener. Everybody's your friend till you get on the bus and head for boot camp, and then it's a whole different ball game. And I was in the regular part of the boot camp for 3 weeks, and as you go through your training, if you have done anything, they ask you maybe to test for something. And I played in the school band. I was in percussion, and I also had some other musical training. So they said, you can audition. So I did audition, and one was for choir and one was for the drum and bugle corps, and I did percussion, and it's like, well, this is easy. So after that they said, you're going to the drum and bugle corps. So for the remainder of my boot camp, there was a group of about 5 of us. Each week there was a group that graduated, so the group I was in, we progressed through until we graduated. We had to attend our own classes on our own, but our main function was we marched and we played. And every graduation day, which I think was a Friday for every week, we marched and played for the graduation. And the Drum and Bugle Corps was good, very precision. I was impressed, and we even attended National Orange Festival. They bussed us in for that. We marched that, and there's one other parade we marched in, which I thought was kind of interesting. But it was a different thing. We traded in our rifles for musical instruments. The only thing we didn't do in our training, we were right next to the gas chamber in our barracks, watched the people in and out that for a long time, and somehow we kind of slipped through the wire on that one, didn't have to go, which didn't hurt my feelings at all. But that was a very good, I guess a positive experience. Initially I was pretty like, well, I don't want to leave my group of guys, I've just got to know these guys. During our time there, one of the things, they had a spinal meningitis breakout of some kind, and so a couple of people had died from it in the boot camp, so everybody got a shot in their one leg, and for the next week plus you could tell everybody they had got their shot because they couldn't march without a limp. So anyway, that passed. During our boot camp thing, one of the things that influenced me was we had different folks come from different ratings of different things they did, and the one that really caught my attention was a guy from the subs come in there. He could have sold life insurance, but he painted a pretty good picture for it, and I said, I think I want to do that, and I did put in for it, and subsequently got it. So after graduation, I did a short leave at home and went to New London, Connecticut for submarine school. Which was a challenge because you could be washed out at any time and place for whatever reason. He did more crazy psychological tests than I can even imagine, which apparently I passed. And we learned all about the submarines, the systems, how they work. They had trainer submarine setups on base where you could go and train, and it was exciting. Most of the time was spent in class. So it was a good time for me as a 19-year-old kid. The one thing that would definitely set you apart if you had claustrophobia was you had to go through the escape training in the tower. Now I think the whole thing's underground instead of above the ground, but you had to make an escape, several escapes from a lock in the tower to the top with first with life jackets, inflatable life jackets, and then what they called a stanky hood, which is like a life jacket with a hood over you, which you could breathe through the air. And your goal was to get in this lock with about 15 other guys, and that was where you'd be claustrophobic. You're in the lockout, 15 guys. They flood this down to about where you couldn't breathe, equalize the pressure, and then you open the hatch, and one by one you go up. And as you go up, they have divers everywhere on there, so if you had to exhale all the way up. If they didn't see bubbles, they'd yank you in so you didn't get an embolism and die. So first time I came through, I remember I did actually exhale every bit of air I could get, but I was at the surface and they were still punching me in the stomach to get me to do it, but it was up. But the next time with the stanky hood, it was pretty fun once you got used to it. So that was quite an accomplishment, you know. Yeah, we actually made it. So I got out of there. East Coast was kind of a different thing for me. I'd never been to the East Coast. The humidity was horrible. The cockroaches in the barracks were massive. There were prizes for somebody to get, but it was still pretty fun. I had a good time. From there, I had orders to the West Coast, San Diego, to a place called Ballast Point, and I was assigned to the Spinix, USS Spinix SS-489,